Now, a second major way that we do the activity of ukemi and uke is that we attack the face. We attack coming in, and we hit him in the jaw. We place our palm right on his chin, and we attempt to deliver energy from our center of gravity through his body line and into the head. And again, if I come with overcommitment, and he does his balance break to me, whichever one he's going to do, this all takes place really quick and hard. Now, I overcommitted just a little bit. I'll overcommit a lot, like I'm really tearing his head off. Right. Ha! And my camera, my microphone falls over and it all goes to bits. But it is such a violent and rapid encounter that, yeah, I feel like I've been had just in a heartbeat. But at the same time, I didn't really pick up what his hands were doing. I kind of got the general sense of his angle, but I couldn't tell you for sure whether that was more of a forward angle or more of a side angle. And the timing is a blur. It was all too fast, too fast. If I attack in that minimalist mode, if I come up and I'm just trying to place my hand in space in front of his head, but I'm not really even trying to knock his head back at all, then again, my body is turned, and I don't get to feel any of the activity inside my nervous system that is giving me the information for balance and recovery that I'm looking for. So again, what are the parameters we're looking for in terms of optimal feedback for uke? Now, optimal feedback for uke that we've determined for ourselves is that as I step in, don't react this time, as I step in and place my hand on his chin, my job at that point of contact is to drive his head back 4 to 6 inches. So, if I accomplish that job, I get that done right there. Now, he's falling off it, that's perfectly fine. Some people step off it, doesn't matter too much. What matters is the delivery of energy. It's probably the best habit to get into, that when your head's driven back like that, that you take a nice clean fall. Because if you practice stumbling backward, you may stumble into other people and into other problems that are worse than just falling down. So once your falling skills are in place, take the fall if you can. But the main thing is that as his hand comes in, his intention, his conscious intention is to keep this structure the same, not to try to lean forward and add energy this way and not to have the arm shoving this way, but to have this same structure and to be driving through my head. Yeah, there we go. Driving through my head to actually displace me 4 to 6 inches. That's our job. With that as the objective, when I come to attack him, I get this rotation that's fairly sharp, but it's still, I could tell you, I got more information that time. I could feel the way his hand gripped. Let's do it again. Yeah, I can feel him gripping at the end. I can feel the angle of attack. I can feel the timing of when his feet are hitting. And I can tell you, just reading that, I can start to feel things in my body and things in his body that he might not be aware of. So, because I've done this a long time, that gives me options that I wouldn't otherwise have. If I attack him with that overcommitment, man, I'm turned on a dime and it's a hard shot, but can't quite sort it out. The undercommitment, again, might be false attack. I might be thinking, oh, maybe I can sneak around him or something, you know, but I'm not really getting. But look what becomes available to me when I attack correctly. I attacked correctly, and I was noticing that Kyle was stepping a little ahead of me there. I got a little bit of intuition that as I read his body, he did it twice to me, and I noticed that as my foot was going down, his foot was sometimes hitting down just before mine. And when that happened, my nervous system went, oh, cool. Well, he didn't do it that time. Now he's corrected it already. But the point is not whether I could take advantage of it or not. The point is that it existed, that it was cognitively there, that I had an awareness of it, and the sensitivity could arise at that speed. I could feel when the feet were hitting. I could feel what the hand was doing. I could feel the angle. I could feel the timing. And so we have this framework of what we find to be the optimal types of attacks to develop optimally what's going on reactively within Uke. And that's the main thing. There are lots of ways to do attacks. We know that people attack in the world with punches and headbutts and kicks and knees and throwing stars at each other and all sorts of crazy things. There's lots of ways where people push and shove and wrestle with each other and attack other human beings. We've been doing it for thousands of years. We're very creative. By narrowing things down to a few basic templates and then focusing on a tight-centered control around that, we actually develop a model for being able to extrapolate a great degree of reactivity. And when you start spreading out attacks into a wide variety of forms, punches and kicks, for instance, which are very exciting and dynamic, but by their nature, all tend to fall into the overcommitted into the category, we actually slow down the learning curve, the internalization, the ability to actually feel and exploit what's going on in our body and in their body. And so that's a particular point in Uke that gets misunderstood or lost. So, with that said, I'd like to say that this is a preference we have for learning. This is a preference we find to be the most efficient for developing high levels of internalized Aikido skill for self-defense and for just well-being in the world. But other systems that have their own preferences, that prefer the harder styles or the softer styles, are fine. They're just operating on a different set of preferences and assumptions. And so it's not an argument for this being the best. It's simply an argument saying this is what we have found to be most efficient to develop high skill levels for the areas we're trying to develop, which is the subtle skills that help us in hand randori and help us in self-defense skills and help us in actively working with our balance and other people's balance on a internalized subconscious basis. So I hope that helps explain what's going on with Uke and how we try to mediate to certain types of jobs that Uke is doing, and allows you to better understand what's going on when we pursue Aikido. Thank you. Thank you.